What's up, YouTube? It's Dweebo here, and I'm reviewing Gravity Rush 2. I got this as a birthday gift, was not expecting it. I played the first one, really enjoyed it. It had some issues that I hoped were going to be polished in the first one. Does Gravity Rush 2 kind of fix those issues I was looking for? Well, guess what? Spoiler alert, it does. It does fix those issues. On the issues of spoilers, I won't be talking about anything story-wise in here, except for kind of what I think about it in general. So yeah, Gravity Rush 2, I want to first talk about one of my favorite parts of this kind of world in the first one and in this one too, especially. And that is the graphics and kind of this world that they made here in this game. As you can see, it's just so, it's gorgeous. It's like this cel-shaded art, but as you can see kind of on the distance, what I liked about the first game was, because it was on a handheld, you kind of have limitations sometimes with what you're able to see kind of far out draw distance wise. And in the first one, it kind of had this kind of fogginess to it, to where it worked into the style of the game. And what I'm happy that they did in the second one is they kept that. The graphics look way better, of course, because it's PS4. It looks like a freaking comic book at certain parts. You can even see kind of the hair moving. See how as I'm like flying around with the gravity here. But it was able to keep kind of these far off areas looking almost like foggy, kind of low res in a way, but it almost looks like a comic book like kind of silhouette cutout with like a gradient kind of look. I don't even know how to freaking describe it. It just is really cool looking, and it doesn't take away from kind of the gorgeous aspect of this game, like graphics wise. I love this style. I love this kind of cel-shadedness. The animation is just beautiful. When they first were showing this game and announced it, just the hair moving and like, as you can see, like fighting, as you can see, like kicking, the animations are like one-to-one, just awesome. They really outdid themselves. It's just, when they first showed it, I was just laughing because of how good it looked. And it kept it in the final game. So flying, as you can see with the gravity aspect, looks great. So yeah, graphics and just the world, I freaking love what they've done. And that is just amped up to like 11 with the sequel, Gravity Rush 2. If you liked the first one, it's more of that awesome graphics that they did. This world, this kind of otherworldness to it is really cool. And the varied places that you end up going to are really, really set apart, and they're unique in their own ways. So really like that. The next thing I want to talk about is, you see me flying around like a lunatic, is the gameplay. To me, this game it shines in its gameplay, it shines in its weird, like, what other game am I freaking flying around, going up to people, and now, I was trying to demo this before and it didn't get, okay, now it is. What other game are you, like, flying and then other people just can start flying with you? So look, all these people, I've just ruined everybody's day, right here. I've ruined their day. And they just fall down and they get back up and they're fine. But I just love going up to, like, I don't know if I could find one, but like there's places in this game, there's little cafes outside, just decorations and stuff. And you start picking this stuff up and it like picks up tables and like all the dishes fall off. Fricks people's day up, makes me laugh every time I do it. Because it's such a freaking mess to like just change the gravity. See, it's like, look, now well, I guess I'm flying through the air now with this gravity queen person. So yeah, it makes me crack up. It's the main draw for me is just being able to fly around with freedom to do that. You can just land on stuff like I just did. Well, you can land on side of buildings and walk on them. At points when you're fighting the enemies in the game, you can fight like this if you want to, if you'd like to do it that way. You can fight in the air by doing this kick thing. In Gravity Rush 2, they added these different modes. I'll only talk about the first because you get it very early on, but it's called Lunar Style. What you do is you take your finger and flick it up, and you get these different styles. So in this one, I'm really light on my feet. See, as I'm basically just skipping along. I weigh nothing at this point. And I can also hold X in and jump like 1,000,000,000 feet in the air and use that to kind of jump to places. So when they first showed this in the kind of the trailers and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's fine. They're adding new stuff. I think the styles are really cool, and I'm changing up. Well, I'm finding myself when I'm fighting to change up to whatever. They explain kind of what the benefits are to each mode and what you should be doing, and I do kind of experiment with that stuff, and I really end up liking that a lot. Also, I don't know if you can. I don't think you can, but when I'm doing that, it's the mic or the speaker on the controller itself is playing, and sometimes when you're in radio contact with some of the characters in the story, it kind of comes up through that. Right at the beginning, you're like in these mines and stuff, and they're like kind of speaking to you through the screen, like through your speakers on your TV, but it also, some stuff comes up on here. I think that's cool. Japanese games do that weird quirkiness stuff. No More Heroes, if you've heard of that game for the Wii. When they would call you, it would come through the Wii remote speaker. I really enjoy that quirky weirdness in Japanese games. And so you get the weird, for no reason, speaker using that. I don't know why you would do it, but you could do it. And or they chose to use it, I guess. And you can utilize that in the game just to listen in on stuff. So, pretty cool. Another thing with the gameplay is there have been complaints from people. Oh, I'm making some other guy look at that fly there. When it comes to the side missions, I did quite a bit of side missions in the first one because you can get, if you see me flying around, these pink crystals right here. That's kind of like your money to spend on upgrades, and you can upgrade certain abilities, and they had that in the first one, and I feel like there was more stuff. You could upgrade your health and like the gravity, like how long I'm able to float in the air. That blue ring goes down as I'm flying around. In the first one, I think there was more involved in that with the upgrade. In this one, you are changing your fighting style, your special attack, how long certain stuff lasts. But in this one, you do stuff and it just says, hey, you've leveled up your health, you've done your gravity. So there's less kind of focus on that RPG element. That doesn't bother me, but it is something to think about. And the side missions, I was going to say, do give you these pink crystals, but people have kind of reported, not reported like they're a reporter, people have complained online talking about that the side missions are kind of boring, like take this here, or take that here, and the ones I have done have been kind of fetch quests, kind of boring. And I'm not really much for doing side stuff, 100%ing certain games, and this is definitely one that Metal Gear Solid 5 I 100%ed because I really love that franchise, but I don't 100% stuff often. So the side quest stuff is not really an issue for me. If you do want to really get, 100%, you really like getting achievements and stuff, or the trophies, I have to say, for PS4. Good luck, I guess, because I guess those are they kind of wear you down. I'm just not worrying about them, and I'm only doing the main mission stuff is all I'm worried about. Because I find that's where the fun, varied stuff is. They have you doing varying stuff. Some things not so fun. Some things really, really fun. Overall, pretty fun little missions that you're doing. I do enjoy kind of the varied aspect to those. I will say, even on the main missions, so I'm not going to review, the side missions are go get this here, go get that there. Not really a lot of varied stuff. On the main missions, some stuff they show you, especially with, I want to say with the styles. When you get the styles, when you're going to acquire those styles, you almost go through these trials to get these styles to go, in certain parts of the game you're doing these trials. Those go on, they wear out their welcome. About 3/4 in, that should have been where they cut it and did like the big crescendo to get out of the trial to complete it. And they just wear out their welcome. It just is going on, you're like, oh, get me out of here. Like, get me the frick out of here. So there was times I really felt, oh my gosh, I just launched those cops and that person, well, they're dead. I really felt like I was really wanting to get out of there sometimes. Other times the game is really fun. The game is like I'm flying around and I'm doing battle with this and with these enemies and stuff, and it picks up the pace and it's paced well and it does well. but other times it's kind of a drag. It's not enough to me to where I definitely wouldn't, recommend this game. I do recommend this game, but keep that in mind. There are some stuff where I'm just like, end this already, please. But that does not outweigh the benefits to me when it comes to gameplay wise. But yeah, I'm about 3/4 of the way through the game now, so yeah, that's just so you know, I haven't beat the game yet, but 3/4 of the way through is how I feel about it at this point. So yeah, gameplay really fun. Love the gravity aspect. There is a demo out if you want to kind of see if that is kind of more for you, or some people just don't get kind of the gravity controls. Another thing I want to say with the first one, I had an issue with, and in this one I actually have come to terms with it in a different way, and that is sometimes when you're fighting it, you are basically getting close. Like, as you can see, I'm using the right analog stick to look around. You could also use, as with the Vita, you could use the Vita to kind of look around and kind of tilt to where you want to aim. So what I like to do is aim with the analog stick and then kind of fine tune with the tilting. But you can just use the analog stick only if you want. Just don't go crazy with the freaking controller like I am right now. See, it's like messing up my whole world right here. So, but what I want to say is, when you're fighting enemies, you have to aim yourself, and then it'll auto aim basically. A little, like, it'll basically lock on itself, but you kind of have to keep on that. Like, you have to kind of like aim it, and if that enemy kind of moves away, good luck. Like, you just have to readjust yourself and retry. There is no lock on button, which I wished for in the first one after playing it, and after playing this one, I don't wish for that anymore. It is better fine-tuned. They refined kind of the aiming to where I feel like it was better. I broke her neck falling just now. But I don't want the lock on anymore, because part of the fun is like aiming yourself and getting to a point where, okay, there's a guy right here, pretend there's a guy in that tree or whatever. Oh, I gotta lock on real quick before he hurts me, boom, and like get on. So the lock on aspect is part of the gameplay. So I take back, you guys didn't even hear that freaking criticism from me, but that's how I felt about it in the first game, was I wish there was a lock on system. But now, get used to it. Like, try to play around with it, because I feel like that I've been having fun trying to lock on in that way and letting the system, kind of do the auto lock on once I'm good enough. So yeah, a lot of stuff with the gameplay there, but that's how I feel about that. That's a big part of the freaking the game. Is this gameplay? Is this gravity aspect? It takes up a lot of it. Next is the story I want to talk about. I'll only briefly talk about this because it's only should mention briefly. The first one, the story was functional. Hey, check us out. There's something going on here. We need a gravity person to help us out. These people are hurting us. Same thing with this one. There's people hurting us. Whatever. Can you help us? Oh yeah, I'm gonna use my powers. Whatever. I did like how this one started. Not gonna spoil it. It's pretty cool what they did. It was kind of neat. But overall, this game is not about the story. The world that they created, this cool looking world, the music, which I'll talk about in the next, and the gameplay is what you're playing it for. If you're playing for story, good luck. It's functional. It's not bad. I don't think it's terrible. I just think it's very bare bones. They kept which was kind of cool and kind of okay, whatever. In the Vita version, they showed comic book style cutscenes, which was pretty neat. You just kind of cycle through those, and it's the characters, and you see their expressions change. It's really neat, and I like that they kept that in this one. And then they also added like kind of cutscenes with in-game. It kind of reminds me of Peace Walker in that regard, but on a PS4 game. So it's kind of weird, kind of stylized, kind of neat. I'm kind of mixed on it, but it's overall pretty neat on that way with the cutscenes and stuff. But story-wise, it's functional. I feel like if this game had a really cool story and kind of jumped that up, I think this game would have gone to the next tier in people's minds of game quality. I think about like The Witcher 3. Even though I haven't played that series, I know that it has like a very in-depth kind of story and side quest systems, and you're really kind of involved in that story and gameplay and all this stuff wrapped into one. I don't feel that way with this. The story is very... There was characters that showed up in this that kind of were in the first one, and it was almost like, oh gosh, this character, but I didn't even barely remember them. They don't leave a really good impact, at least to me, in my opinion. So yeah, story's functional. Nothing much to say there about that. But there's been some neat little twists and turns, but it's more like, like, whatever. Yeah, it's not a highlight of the game. Lastly, I want to talk about the music. The music is awesome. One of my favorite games of all time is Dark Cloud 2, which had this kind of accordion playing, like horns and trumpets and stuff, and very, I don't know how to explain it, like very old English sounding. I don't even know how to explain the style. It's very cool and original, and if you played the Professor Layton games, it's that kind of style too. That has this kind of style mixed with some string orchestra. So you're flying around the world, you're in the middle of battle, and this grand like music score kind of pops up underneath. There is some great catchy music in this too. I love the freaking music in this. I cannot say enough about it. It fits perfectly. I'm hearing, like, even in this like kind of night district kind of thing, it's jazzy playing. Everything fits perfect, and I feel like more people should be talking about the music in this game because it's freaking awesome. And they nailed it with kind of the mood that they were going for in each kind of district, each kind of location that you go to. They nail it on that regard. So, Gravity Rush 2. I give this game a rad. I think you should check it out. I think I will go back to this game in the future. Check out my review scale if you want to see kind of what constitutes a rad. But yeah, this game is really cool. I'm excited to keep playing it. I'm 3/4 of the way through, and I can't. I'm looking forward to what's next. Even on the story, as basic as I said it was, I'm looking forward to like where are they taking it, what's going to happen. So yeah, it keeps me interested, keeps me entertained. So thank you guys for watching Gravity Rush 2. Give it a click. If you're kind of unsure about it, check out the demo. Like I said, that's out there to kind of give you a basic kind of understanding on the gameplay. Yeah, so I really like Gravity Rush 2. I hope they do more. I'm down for more. I'm glad that they did more after the Vita version. That was Vita. Then they made it. That's another thing. You can check out the remaster versions on PSN of the first one. Because I usually don't like to jump into straight like numbered sequels if I haven't played the original. That's me. You can skip the first one and go straight to this and be fine. But if you're like me and, kind of like crazy about that kind of, I don't know, it's a personal preference. I gotta play them all. You can do that. And the first one's fun. So, more refined version of the first one. Check it out. Look at that. Don't, if you gotta juggle your controller, if you're kind of someone that juggles the controller while they're flying around, I don't think you're gonna like this game because it kind of controls the camera for a little bit while you're flying. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to float on out of here. So, as Newton said, Newton invented gravity. So, as he said, play Gravity Rush 2 for PlayStation 4. You'll like it. That's what he said when he found the apple that dropped. So yeah.